Welcome to Talk It Up Tuesday with Team Brandstater. Now, in case you haven't heard, there is a group of us, you can see the four of us here, who have joined together to support Susie and to help get some change happening in our local council. So to my side, I have our team leader, Susie Brandstater, and down below we've got Susan Jones and Tina Meyer, and myself, Tia Veach. The four of us, make up Team Brandstater.
We do. Thank you. I would like to acknowledge the Dharawal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and the land in which we live, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who may be viewing us today.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to just introduce Susie. So just a little brief background. She's lived in the Wollondilly since the mid-70s, and she was a wonderful teacher at Picton High School for 33 years, and she brought some excellent educational achievements for her students. And she was working with her music and entertainment industry students. She provided musical and technical support for many community events such as Anzac Day, the Thirlmere Festival of Steam. And now that she's retired, she's planning on taking her leadership skills into a different role in the community. Now I hand it over to you, Susie.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Tina and Tia. Thank you. This is our very first time of doing this, so we're all very new at this as well. So firstly, a lot of you will probably recognize or may recognise me. I may have taught you or your children or even your grandchildren in some cases, because I was in high school for a long time. And anyway, so I retired from teaching at the beginning of 2018, and I've had a nice break and turned my eyes to my community. And that's when I started to see there was a lot of issues that weren't being dealt with well. A lot of development problems. So I formed a community group called CRAG, where we started to look at talking to the council about what can we do to not stop development, because I've never been anti-development, but to make the development a lot more suitable for our community. And that's really where I was coming from. And that's when I started dealing with council and learning about council. So after a little while of doing that, I thought, you know what? I've retired. About time I stopped having my little holiday in life and got back to work, and which is why I've now thrown my hat into the ring for council. But to do that, I needed a very good team around me, so I approached three wonderful ladies, Tia Veach, Tina Meyer and Susan Jones, and asked them to join me on this very exciting adventure, which will hopefully lead to some really great outcomes for our community. So that's who I am, and the why I'm doing that. And I'm very well placed to be a councillor because I've retired at a slightly younger age than others. I have absolutely no political ambitions. I'm not related to any political party, never have been, and I don't see being a councillor as just a step in the line of a political career. So I'm there for my community. Just as when I was a high school teacher, I was there for my students in my school. So same sort of thing. Now, you may have seen some of my posts around the place and what my core values are. And what they are is advocacy, community and transparency, which abbreviates very nicely to ACT, which, considering my original theatrical background, it's probably a good thing to have. So what am I advocating for? I'm advocating for better infrastructure for our community, including roads and community facilities, because our area is growing and the council doesn't have any control of that. It can put brakes on, it can put things in place to make it not nasty, which is where I come in, but it's going to grow. So we need to make sure when it does grow that we advocate for that better infrastructure for our community. Community, that's my second core value. Which is what I'm moving into, I want to develop a framework so Wollondilly doesn't become one of those sort of little a little box type suburbs with or a dormitory suburb, because that's a real danger, and we're at that danger time now of Wallandilly becoming a dormitory suburb for the greater West, the greater Sydney and the airport and all that sort of thing. So if we don't get infrastructure, if we don't get employment lands, that's where we're going to go, because we want people to be employed in our area. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's where I'm looking at the community. And the other one is transparency. And if you've only got to sit through Facebook and read everyone's comments, and big thing about that is the lack of transparency. We need councillors who are going to work transparently with the council to achieve the best outcomes for this community. And I'm not throwing any mud anywhere, but that's really where we need to go. And a lot of people think they'll instantly blame the councillor because something's gone wrong in the community with the council, whereas the councillor probably wouldn't have even known about it. And so it's about getting that process really clear so people can know what they can happen. So that's sort of the start with me. And every Tuesday we're going to just jump on for a few minutes and talk to you about what we do, what we are. But we are in horrific times at the moment. To pinch the word from our leaders, unprecedented times. And we're all finding our way forward. And one of the things we will be doing in future weeks is inviting people just to say a little bit about what they're doing to help survive and keep their businesses going in these unprecedented times. And to let everyone know that we're here to help support you and hopefully give you a little bit of advice if you need it. But everything changes. The goalposts change every week. We were all geared up for a 4th of September election. Now it's 4th of December. What the election looks like is going to be a whole new thing. Not decided yet at this stage. Just say we're voting. We'll keep you updated as we're updated. But next week I will talk a little bit about postal voting, because I think that's going to be a very real thing and will allow all of our community to have access to the democratic process. So that's just all for today. Just keep it short and sweet, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Susie, and tune in again next week. See you.
Bye.